My inner black superstitious person comes on and she's like, sissy, you read about this shit in the newspapers all the time. Hey guys, it's Noble. Welcome back to my channel. If you're a subscriber, you're a real OG. I love you. Thank you for all the love you've been showing me on my channel. If you're new to my channel, welcome home, boo. Go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, and just welcome to the family. So today, guys, story time. I feel like I haven't done a story time in the longest time, so here goes nothing. I literally dated a whole sugar baby who had a whole sugar mommy, and I was okay with it. So this happened like a year or a couple of years back. I have learned not to be specific on this channel because I swear, like, literally one of my subscribers is Sherlock Holmes. Like, you people are detectives out here. Someone hit me up last week and was like, I went to school with you for 2 years, so it was about some story time. She's like, so if you were not talking about this guy, it might have been A, B, and C because of A, B, and C. But it can't be A because A did this and that. So it definitely has to be C. Confirm. I'm like, so like, you watched my longest video and then you went and took your precious time and then you analyzed it. I love it, but I'm not about to be exposing people on the internet. So anyways, this guy and I were exes before. Like, we literally dated when we were still babies. I mean, like, babies. We had no reason to be dating at that point, but then we were dating. So yeah, him and I were dating, like, we were really young and we're dating. We met through a mutual friend, so like, you know, we started hitting it off and then we did our thing. But our whole dating thing was like virtual, so it was just online, us texting, calling each other, like sending pictures, and that's it. So we never really met in person. And then like a couple of years down the line, I met this man again. So I was now working, but I won't tell you where I was working because you people like things. So I was literally on my way to work. I was walking to work because I'm a broke bitch and the girl has no car. So I was walking to work, minding my own business, and then this man pulls up in this car, right? So apparently he recognizes me, right? So the street I was walking on was a one-way street, so he literally went and like came around and like came back, right? But since I was walking, he literally caught up to me. So then he comes to me and he's like, he calls me, he's like, I'm sorry, can I please talk to you? And the thing is with me, people, like, if you're gonna call me out in public and be like, hey yo, what's up, I don't respond. So I kept on walking and poker facing him. I'm like, in my head I'm thinking, what the fuck is wrong with this man? So I keep on walking, minding my own business, and then he's like, hey yo, Nicole. I'm like, okay. He literally called me. I'm like, I turn around and I see him and I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm known as Nicole in the streets, so yep. So I turn around and I look at him. I'm like, hi, let's call him Dimitri. Hi Dimitri, what the fuck, what's up, blah blah blah. And then we keep on talking and he's like, where you going? I'm like, I'm going to work. He's like, okay, let me go drop you off and then we can like catch up. So I got in his car and then I like he starts driving and I'm just looking at him. I'm like, this man is like trying to flex on me. You know those type of exes you dump? Because I literally dumped him because I dated him when I was really young, and then like when I was coming of age, like when I was starting my own thought phase, like I was like, I have no business dating this man, he's such a boy, like, you know, like I dumped him. That's it. So meeting him after years, I was like, low-key embarrassed because he was looking fine, like he smelled good. Like he smelled good, he didn't smell cheap. So yeah, he smelled good and like he was like dressed real cute, like his shoes, his belt, his watch, like it was like, I'm like, okay, I see you must something of yourself, right? So he's like, oh yeah, like, so he drops him off at work and then he's like, give me your number so that we can like keep in touch or whatever. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. I give him my number, but it's not like I wanted him or anything, so I gave him my number and then we kept in touch and we kept on talking and then we became friends. We literally started hanging out like literally like consistently. So we would go out on dates as friends and like just go to a movie, go for lunch. Like literally he would come pick me up from our place and take me to work. So I no longer had to use public transport. Thank you, Jesus. So yeah, him and I were vibing and whatever. But the gag is, he would come with different cars every day. Okay, not literally every day, but then you know what I mean. So like the day he picked me up the first time, let's say he picked me up in like a Toyota, and then he comes the next day, he takes me to lunch in like in a Mazda, and then the next day he takes me to lunch in a Range Rover. Like, it's different cars. So like the second time I asked him, I'm like, oh, you have 2 cars? He's like, yeah, I bought it last year. I'm like, oh, okay, that's nice for you, yeah, good for you. But in my head I'm like, what the fuck do you do? Like, he was literally my age. Like, he's one of the youngest guys I've dated, because like he was my age. So I'm like, what do you do? Like, you're not at school? He's like, yeah, like school wasn't for me. I'm like, okay, so what do you do? It's like, I just do like a couple of things, you know. It's like one of those schemes that help you like make money real quick. It's either you win or lose. So apparently he was winning, right? So I'm like, lucky you, you know. I would never be bold enough to do that. So yeah, so it's like, yeah, it's really good for me. Like, it's been treating me well. So like, I've been making like stuff for myself, I've been investing and whatever. I'm like, okay, you and I, you have like a head on your shoulders, so it's like, it's good. So we start vibing and we're talking, but then like he brings more cars, different cars, like, and at some point I ask him, I'm like, what is this, your car? He's like, no, it's my mom's car. I'm like, oh, okay. And then the next time he brings a different car and he's like, it's my mom's car, my mom's car, my mom's car. And then at some point I'm like, my inner black superstitious person comes on and she's like, sissy, you read about this shit in the newspapers all the time, you watch it in Nollywood movies all the time, people be using snakes and whatever, witchcraft, and like getting money, and then maybe he's using you in some type of way. So I'm like, okay, let me talk to this mutual friend who like introduced me to this guy. I'm like, because if I die, we die together type thing. So I hit her up and I'm like, sis, like, do you know what this person does? And she's like, oh yeah, like some other weird trading thing, blah blah blah, right? And then I'm like, do you think it gives him like a lot of money? And she was like, yeah, you make some pretty good money type thing. I'm like, okay, what does his mom do? Because it keeps on bringing all those different nice things, nice cars. I was getting Brazilian hair, like all the good things and whatever. So I'm like, what does his mom do? She's like, his mom is a professor. I'm like, guys, Zimbabwean professors don't make like big money like that. Like, it's like normal money, but it's not a lot. So I was just there like, me, I was doubting. I literally, in my mind, literally went to witchcraft. I was like, there's nothing like this. This man is using me, or he's got some snakes in his house that he's using to like make his money. So like this other day he takes him out for lunch. It was during my lunch break, so we go, and like it's the regular thing we do, we go and then we get lunch, and then so he takes me to lunch, just chilling, and we're talking. And then at that point him and I were like super close, like, so we could like really like talk about shit and stuff like that. So I'm like, you know what, Dimitri, like, I get it, okay, you're doing this trading thing on the side, your mom is a professor, whatever, but this is insane. I've literally seen you with like 7 or 8 cars. And then he's like, okay, it's like utandizinto type thing. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what utandizinto means in English. Like, my English bundles, they just run out. You like things. That's literally the direct translation of it. So and then I sit down and then I'm like, you know what, just tell me the truth. Things mean that like you can literally tell me anything, and there's nothing that surprises me at this point. He's like, okay, so I have like a friend who's got like a lot of cars type thing. I'm like, so you couldn't just tell me that it's your friend's car? And it's not like I was gonna laugh at you or whatever. And like in my head I was thinking, oh, he's borrowing his bro's cars to try and impress me, because I thought I was the shit. Anyway, I'm like, you could have just told, like, I really don't mind. Like, he's like, no, like, you don't get it. I'm like, what don't I get? Like, so I thought I had figured it out. I'm like, you know, it's okay, like, honestly, I appreciate you, but if you didn't have a car. He's like, hey, la la la. I'm like, okay, tell me. And then he's like, it's a she. I'm like, so I instantly think, oh, girlfriend or whatever. And then I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense. Like, how could your girlfriend have all these cars, right? And then he's like, she's an older woman type thing. So he starts speaking in like code and like riddles. I'm like, yeah, when open your mouth and literally say what you're saying. So he's like, I have a friend who's my sponsor, who's also my business partner. I'm like, okay. I wasn't getting it, because for me it's like, I've never met like a male sugar baby. Like, I know like female sugar babies is quite common, but then for a guy to be a sugar baby is like, hold up, okay, that's cute. So like I wasn't, it wasn't registering in my brain. So I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, so we're business partners, she helps me invest, she teaches me all these like things about like trading and whatever, but we also benefit each other. I'm like, benefit in what sense? Do you like do her laundry? Do you like clean for her, whatever? And then he's like, do I have to spell it out? I'm like, you mean you? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm not judging you. He's like, it's okay if you like, if you want to judge me, but like, you just listen to my reasoning. I'm like, okay. And then it's on time. I'm a guy, I can literally fuck anything, right? So the fact that I'm fucking her and I'm still getting paid for fucking her and I have all those privileges, she teaches me all the, like, she gives me inside information and whatever, it's like an amazing offer. It's like a good deal. I'm like, okay. When I look at it from your perspective, it makes sense. But if someone was to beat me and be like, yo, Dimitri is a sugar baby, I was gonna laugh, right? So I'm like, because at this point him and I like were together but not really together, so what each other's persons, but then, you know, anywho, so I'm like, okay. And I wasn't about to complain. The money was good. Guys, I was getting hair, I was getting my nails done literally every week, unless if I like the design and I want to keep it for long. I was good. So I'm like, so why didn't you tell me? He's like, do you think if I had told you, you'd have stuck with me? I'm like, okay, yeah, true. That's a you know, it makes sense. And he's like, it's not a long-term thing, it's just like for now until I get my shit running, like, and then that's it. But it's like, and then he's like, but it's just free sex, like I literally fuck her whenever she needs me to, and it's not that hard. But in my head I'm thinking, sugar mommy is this big ass woman, like, you know. And thing is, he was so tiny, like Mitch is just so tiny and cute, like right? So like, I'm just there like, how is she, like, describe her? And then he starts showing me pictures like, this is her, whatever. It's simple, like I just do whatever she likes. And he's like, another good thing is like I'm learning a lot. And then he starts going, it's like, I didn't know this, she taught me this, I didn't know this. guys, I was just there. I remember we went to Chicken Inn, yeah, so I was just there like being all out like, Yewena, are you serious? People were looking at me like, Yewena, are you okay? But I was so shook, but also I was really, really intrigued. I'm like, okay, you have some big ass balls to do that, because I know like some people would never be able to do that. But I'm like, okay, and I really like, I admire you type thing. So yeah, he's like, so well, what's the way forward? What do you think? And for me, I was like, you know, it's not like I was feeling him like that. Like, it's not like I was in love with him. He was conveniently there and he had good conversation and him and I were vibing and it was going good. So I'm like, yo, I'm with you on your grind. Like, I'm really good, because at that point I wasn't losing anything and I was gaining. So I'm like, I'm really good. It's really fun. So it was really fun for me. He was just there like, she's teaching me a lot. My stroke game used to be weak, now it's strong. I was blind, now I see. I'm like, yes, preach it. So yes, that happened. So literally, he was a sugar baby. I don't know if he still is though. Him and I still talk. Like, he's good people. Anyways, yes. So I had this whole situationship with the person with the whole situationship with the whole sugar mommy, someone's little mom. That woman had kids, but she was a divorcee, so it was not cheating. Guys, I swear, if I don't get married, I'm gonna be one of those mommies. Sugar mommy. Anyways, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching my videos till the end. Like, comment, subscribe, share this video with your friends. No, don't share this little video. Like, share all the others, don't share this one, because if you find that I was talking about him. No, I'm joking, guys. Go ahead, share this video, like, comment, subscribe. I love you. Stay tuned for my next video. Mwah.